So hi, Stephen, and hello, everyone. Welcome to this Q&A session from Call for Curators, which we organize for our community members in order to share the most recent and exciting opportunities from the world of culture. And I'm Nona Markarian, and today we'll be talking about the famous open call from apexart New York. And our guest is Stephen Rand, the founder and an executive director of apexart. Hi, Stephen. Thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, and sorry to everybody. I got my timing messed up, but
it's
thank
okay.
you for joining us.
It's okay. We have such a big time difference. So it's morning there, it's evening on us, and so it's okay. Also, Instagram lives are a bit tricky. So sometimes we have these delays or technical issues with connection. So no worries.
We'll blame any problem on
that. Stephen, it would be great to tell our followers a story, like a short story about the apexart itself, because I'm sure many people know about it, especially those who are following us and our members, because it's been years since we are sharing this opportunity with them. But it still would be great to remind them, or those who are attending this Q&A for the first time, what's the story of the apexart, because this organization has such a long and interesting story to tell.
We were founded in 1993. We're a 29-year-old 501c3 educational organization. Basically, that means that we are registered with the Department of Education rather than the Department of Finance. Over the years, we've attempted to create a fair and transparent procedure for people to realize exhibitions that make people think, discuss, and consider more ideas. Are we doing everything the way everyone thinks it should be done? Nope, of course not. But we are trying to be part of the solution more than the problem.
Sure. And the open call, so I would like to remind everyone that apexart has two open calls, right? One is in February, the international one, where people can apply from anywhere in the world and can do exhibitions also anywhere. And this one, which is in October, could you tell us more about this one, like who can apply, from where, etc.?
As you noted, each year we have two open calls, one for New York, one for anywhere else in the world that the curator has been. We've presented international exhibitions in Tanzania, Uganda, Korea, Jordan, Nigeria, India, Ramallah, Cambodia. We have a current exhibition in Paris that opened Friday, one coming up in Brazil later this year, in Mozambique, Puerto Rico, and Massachusetts. We advertise and promote the opportunity everywhere and welcome any help from anybody in the audience to let other people know about both the jury procedure that anybody can be part of, as well as exhibition submission, which is happening this month.
So this exhibition submission, which is happening like now in October, is also open internationally, but it's important that the exhibition itself should take place in New York, right?
The exhibition must take place in New York for this open call. We will have 5 winning proposals.
Yeah.
5 exhibitions in New York. No, that's not right.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, it's early here.
It's okay.
And I'm dealing with a big plumbing problem in my house, which is why I'm so
my God.
praised. Yes, thank you everybody for your sympathy.
But also all the details are stated on the website, so people can always check apexart website, where everything is written very well. And maybe we can quickly just mention the deadlines and then talk about the selection procedure, because you have very unique selection procedure, and it would be interesting to tell about it. Yeah.
Selection for the New York City Open Call is until the end of this month. Then we begin jurying about 4 days later, and people will find out about a month after that. Ask me again.
Sure. About the deadlines, it's clear, right? And the selection procedure itself, like how proposals are selected, because you receive the numerous amount of proposals, right? It's like hundreds or maybe thousands. So how you select them?
Okay, we receive about 1,000 proposals a year between the two open calls. And then they're considered by more than about 1,600 people around the world, about 800 people for each jury procedure.
Wow.
We write our own code in-house. The submission process asks for a 500-word exhibition idea. We don't accept images along with it because we really are an idea-centric organization. We want people to jury the proposal from the idea.
So the only thing that people need to submit is like 500 words proposal, nothing else.
That's all we accept. We don't accept resumes. We don't accept letters from family, how talented you are.
Okay.
We've really tried to create a situation that creates a level playing field, that they're all juried anonymously, so people don't have the benefit of broadcasting who they are.
Yeah.
We receive submissions from about 70 countries. FYI, there are about 195 countries in the world, so we're doing pretty well. If you're a faculty person, each open call is used by about 20 universities around the world. We provide a live feed for teachers to watch the students voting. And we also provide class syllabus ideas and discussion points. It allows the faculty to pull up the proposals and talk about them. And we then get students later on, during it rather, who are kind of watching what's happening and following. And later on, we've had students that submit ideas to us. So it provides a continuous,
Yeah. And did it already happen that students won the competition and submitted the proposals and actually did the exhibitions?
I don't really know. I know that we have had students subsequently submit. It is not coming to mind that anybody has told us they have won.
Yeah.
But I suspect that's bound to happen.
Yeah. Oh, we already have a question from Mike. What topics or content are of interest? Do you have any preference in terms of topic or priorities?
Well, we're not the ones doing the jurying, so any submission would not be geared to please us, which is really the point.
Yeah.
Most of our submissions tend to be about political issues. They tend to be about identity issues, and they tend to be about violence toward women. Clearly, the curators and the people around the world are trying to address substantial issues in the exhibition.
I see. Thanks, Micah, for this question. And I would like also to ask about the costs. Like, do the winning proposals, like do the curators, for example, or people who submit the proposal and win it, need to travel to New York, and whether costs are covered or not, or they need some additional funding for that?
Okay, we provide a $10,000 budget for the exhibition. The reason, for some people, it may not seem like a lot of money, but the point is, for us to create exhibitions that are of a reasonable size, that are focused and are portable, for $10,000, we get a lot of creativity, a lot of DIY aspect, and people work really hard to make the show happen.
Yeah.
When in museums, we come across these budgets that are astronomical, and think, to be honest with you, it compromises the cohesiveness of the exhibition. So we give them $10,000. We cover all other costs, all advertising, the brochures, and everything else. And with that $10,000, they have to deal with transportation. And we don't want people shipping things all over the world, because if we're doing an exhibition locally in Africa, there are so many artists and so many people who are there that we really don't need to be shipping things all over for environmental reasons, for context reasons, and just because there's no reason to do that. They're probably already familiar with the artists that somebody is shipping around the world by looking in books or online. So the challenge really is to work within the budget and do the best show.
Sure. Yeah, and Stephen, could you share just briefly the winning proposals from the last year, if you remember any of them, or the topic maybe? So just people who are considering applying this year can have an idea what kind of proposals won, or maybe they can check it somewhere, like if you have it cataloged or archived.
Everything is archived at Apex. If you
Okay.
go online, you will see all of the past exhibitions so that you can evaluate them and see how they worked and what people wrote about. You know, obviously the strength of the idea and the strength of the writing. Yeah, you should go on and look at the shows that have been winners.
Great. There is another question asking so the best is to focus on local artists. Is that true?
There is no best. There is no
best.
We want people to be as creative as they can within the confines of the situation. There's no right and wrong. One of the important situations for us is that while we get submissions from over 70 countries, we also have jurors from over 70 countries. That means that there aren't 5 people sitting around a table in Tribeca making the decisions, but it's people's peers. I will tell you one quick story if we have a moment.
Sure.
I've been on these juries where they will show the jury 500 examples over 2 days. My capacity, I can't remember 500, and I respect all the people on the panel that can, but I'm probably topping out at about 25. So what happens is we sit there, we see all of this, and at the end of the process, somebody says, oh, listen, Nona submitted a proposal. I know Nona. I know how hard she works. I know how much she deserves it. I'm going to give it to her. And here we are patting ourselves on the back, thinking we've done the right thing, where all of the other people who have submitted something, expecting it to be juried in a fair way, it doesn't happen. So we've got a situation of complete nepotism while we're patting ourselves on the back saying what a good job we're doing. So for those of you who are going to be on a jury, it's a very responsible situation. Don't give it to a friend.
Thank you, Stephen, for specifying that. That's really important, and it makes really fair for everyone who is applying. And the fact that it's anonymous and nobody knows who is applying, who is behind the application, it's very important. And yeah, I wish more open calls would have been done like that.
Well, we, as I say, we write our own code in-house. We have worked with other organizations to let them use the process, and we still do. The important thing for us as an educational organization is that each year, between the submissions and the jurors, we've got about 3,000 people who are thinking about this, writing or considering.
Yeah.
Different than just walking into a show, making a quick round. So, sorry. So we're not trying to promote artists, we're trying to make people think.
Yeah. I think more questions are coming. Here's
good.
What would be your advice to upcoming artists?
Go into computer science.
Don't do art.
No, it's not don't do art. It's just that for many of us, the art world has gotten very conservative. And for me, a lot of the real art is not in the art world. It's situational in life. It's somebody feeling the need to create. We have a fellowship program, and the primary issue in the fellowship program is people are not allowed to produce art, they're not allowed to promote, and over a 30-day period, they do about 60 different activities that are non-art related to act as both a creative catalyst and also an opportunity to stop doing what they're doing to reconsider it. Maybe reconsidering what you're doing is one of the most difficult things and most important things. You start producing work when you're in art school or post-art school, or if you didn't go to art school, and you kind of get trapped into what you're doing because of the expectations of others, and you're not ready to risk going in a new direction that nobody knows about or cares about. So I would say the biggest problem that we all have is, first of all, caring too much about what other people think and not being able to properly define what success is. For me, success is being interested in what you're doing, getting up and having a desire to keep doing it, and figuring out a way to finance it that may not be trying to hawk your work to people that may or may not want it. Because there's nothing more oppressive to the creative process than having no money. So it used to be that artists had jobs, and of course they still do. But now the metric of success for an artist is not having another job, supporting yourself by your work. And that seems to be such an external issue that just makes it so hard. I mean, don't get a job and don't tell people if that's what you have to do.
Well, thank you, Stephen. That's really valuable opinion, and I think many people will appreciate it. We have more questions, and let me just find it. Yeah, one of them is from, yeah.
Let me just address one thing quickly.
Yeah.
Our process is in English. We understand the problem. Nobody has to tell me the problem. We try to get around it. What we suggest to people, because the AI in Google Translate now is so good, write in your own language, translate it to German, translate it to Spanish, translate it to English, and then translate it back to your language. If the idea retains enough cohesiveness as you translate it from one to the next, it's going to be fine, because the jurors know that people are not all English speaking. And we specifically say to them, we're not interested in the quality of the grammar. We're interested in the quality of the idea. So we are aware of that, and we're trying to do it. So anybody to whom English is not a first language, don't be discouraged. Most of the people in the international exhibitions, English is not their first language, and they prevail fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes it more accessible. So if people don't have language barrier, or if they're not perfect in their English proficiency is not excellent, and they can still apply and use their native language, that's exciting.
No, they have to translate it back into English.
Back into English, okay.
Right.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that if you go through the process of going from, I don't know, Swahili to, if you write in Swahili, and then you translate to German, and then to Spanish, and then back to Swahili, If you still see your idea being cohesive, then translate it to English and it'll be fine.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, no, it's clear now, absolutely. And I will find one of the last questions that we had. It's from Datsolagram. Does the proposed exhibition have to be in a gallery, or it can respond to public sites, for example, an AR project?
Okay. In New York, the exhibition has to be at our site. We don't have access to other locations, and we are willing to build in the space all kinds of things to accommodate. Internationally, we encourage people not to work in the art space, but to find either a storefront or something that allows more of the public to kind of experience it. Excuse me. We will provide an additional $1,000 rental to match outside. What we're trying to do is make the work and the exhibitions accessible to people that generally don't go in, because the art world is a very exclusive place, and
Absolutely.
a lot of people just don't feel comfortable going into galleries. But if they're walking along and there's a storefront that's been converted into a gallery, kids and people go in. And we all remember our first experience, either going to an art show or a museum or seeing a piece of art. And we want that to happen.
Yeah, I can totally agree to that. That it's more the art which is closed, especially in the white space and the most fancy and elitist places, creates this huge distance between general public and the art. So then people cannot access it, and then it remains in this bubble. So of course, exhibitions in the public places are very much appreciated, and it's great that you also encourage people to do that.
One other thing to mention, in all of our shows, we've incorporated now a 3D walkthrough. You've all seen the real estate things where you can walk into a house and navigate through it. So we have that now for every exhibition, which really allows for a nice interactive. As far as you were asking about an AR or a VR situation, we have had VR shows. I suspect on some level we are open, but we probably would have the show initiate at Apex if it were local, and have people don't want to wear other people's goggles. We ran into that, as COVID was beginning. So there are all of those issues as well.
Yeah. Well, I think if we don't have more questions from people attending this live, we can slowly close this session, and want to go on the website of apexart and check all the details, because this website really provides all the information about the open call, procedures, results, etc. And thank you, Stephen, for joining us, for finding time and energy for this session.
I'm sorry it took a while to get going. We want more jurors, so if you're interested in being a juror, you can go online, and it's pretty obvious where to go. We'll get you set up. Lisa is our IT person, and she will get back to you quickly. Juring will begin probably around November 4th, but you still have over 2 weeks to create and submit a proposal for a New York exhibition.
Great.
Thank you, Nona.
Thank you, Stephen. I wish you a lot of interesting applications, and I wish success to and good luck to all the people who are applying for this exciting opportunity.
you guys have been great in helping us get the word out, and we appreciate that very much.
Sure. It's a great pleasure for us.
Thank you, Nona.
Thanks. Bye, Stephen. Have a great day. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks for joining.